Hey, Kara, thank you so much for coming on to my podcast, CEO Chats. Guys, Kara is a CEO in her own right. She is a brand ambassador. She does modeling. She partners with brands, and I can see how her story really connects with her followers, and she represents not only herself, but people like herself. And I want Kara to kind of tell her own individual story. I personally am definitely a fan. There's not a lot of authentic spaces on Instagram. And so I just love following your page because I do feel like you care about the people that follow you and you care about the information you put out, and I admire you. And so guys, this is Kara Smith. Welcome to my podcast.
Very sweet. Thank you, Katapatash. I really appreciate that. No, I've been in the Instagram space for a while now, just like most of us, I guess, like millennials and I don't even know the newest generation names. I feel like I'm getting old, but I've really kind of just come more into my own and learning through my mom and my family on my native or indigenous heritage side. And obviously being a Black woman as well, I like to just speak about my identity. I think it's been a great outlet for that. And through that, I've gotten a lot of amazing opportunities. And it's really nice to kind of be the representation I didn't really see when I was younger, and to connect with tons of other people, like indigenous and not, and Black and not. So.
Oh my God, that's right on point with me too. I feel that, you becoming the person that you needed when you were younger. And I see you now really kind of taking over Instagram space, TikTok, having all of these partnerships. And I really feel like your brand and your page is super authentic to who you are as a person. And so I really am interested in your journey and how long or like how did you get to a space where you could be true to yourself? Because the theme that we're talking about is self-love right now. And I know, at least for me, it was really difficult to really find myself in the midst of being a Black woman in America, and then people wanting you to be so many different things in so many different ways. And so I'm genuinely curious, girl, about your journey.
Yeah, for sure. I do have really cool, I think a lot of partnerships that have been aligning have been because I'm being more authentically true to myself, and I have a lot of like exciting ones coming up. So I'm really excited to share those. But I think it's still like an ongoing journey, really. And I think I started to really realize that I needed to kind of tap into and take some space, like some quiet time away from the internet to find who I truly was, because I was feeling that sense of burnout. I was feeling like in some like romantic connections and other relationships, I didn't quite feel like I felt almost alone, even though I was with people or connecting with people. And I think it's because I was kind of putting, anything and everything else first, like wanting to be like have a platform, thinking that was cool. And like, I think that sometimes we do that by any means necessary. And so we'll just hop on trends and we'll try to buy certain clothes that we see people posting or that they're giving to like influencers. And I think I really had to take a step back and be like, what is actually going to fulfill me at the end of the day? Like, even if my account say like gets deleted, like, will I be okay? And so I think that I started to do more of that. And I don't really call myself or think of myself as a writer by any means, but I got some like random editorial writing pieces that then kind of naturally really people saw those, and later on different partnerships and different people connected with me. And I think because I was starting to kind of connect to a truer sense of self or identity, things naturally came up that aligned more with that and like are in the direction that I wanted to kind of go, but it's deviated a bit. So I hope that made sense. I think I was like,
no, it does. It makes a lot of sense. It's really hard to, kind of represent your brand online and be authentic to yourself especially as women, like the most views I get are when I have a low cut shirt or when I have like as little clothes as possible. That's like, and it's hard to not hop on to like continue to do that, because...
But I do want to say with that too, like, I do recognize that that's totally a thing, but sometimes too, it's like we should be able to be sexual or comfortable in our sensuality and sexuality. But it is, you do notice that gets the most attention, and it does make you feel like very objectified. So,
and it makes you, it also is like, well, damn, these are where my numbers are. you know,
Yes.
like maybe I have to keep providing this type of content. This is what my followers want, you know.
Yeah.
It's like taking a step back is really important too as well, because it's like,
Yeah.
what do I want? I mean,
Yes.
definitely, you know, you do what you want with your body and like wear what you want, but it's also like, don't let the people following you guide you. You gotta
Yeah.
be the one.
That's
So
the thing I notice. And I'm sure like I've done it as well. Like I'm sure you've done it, but like, you know, when people kind of just like take the pulse and they're like, oh, what kind of content do you want to see from me? I was actually just talking to a friend the other day about this because I think you have to be careful about that because obviously you want people to still tune in and just in the like structure and the capitalist world we live in, like we need those people to continue to support us in that way, especially if you're an online creator or anything. But you also don't want to get too trapped in that you just do whatever other people want to see from you. I think that that leads to a lot of like deep like non-fulfillment and yeah, it's just important to try to find fulfillment in self as well.
yeah. And I mean, I see you representing being a Black Indigenous woman, and being passionate about that. So what I really like about your page is your passion. And what was the journey for that within you that you were like, I'm proud to be who I am and I don't mind sharing that with as many people
Yeah.
as possible?
Yeah. It's been a journey. I think it's come with, you know, the hardships of being invalidated, both by like the spaces and communities within I was like within families sometimes and outside in school and things like that. Like I was younger and we were very little. I don't really hold it against her, but we were just at an annual gathering on Chappaquiddick, the island where my people are from. And my cousin was like, well, you're too dark to be Indigenous. And I'm like, are we not all here because we literally know our parents descend from the same people? But like things like that and just people, you know, like second guessing and questioning my heritage, I think have really like for a while, they tore me down when I was younger a little bit. I was very sensitive, still am. But now I kind of use it and am empowered by it and want to speak up for people because I know I've connected with so many people that are like so many people invalidated me and like seeing this video or seeing whatever has really made me like want to stand in my truth and my identity. So I want to keep doing that.
I mean, you're opening up doors. I just saw this article that you posted on Instagram about how you are kind of pushing back against brands who don't hold space or have representation for Indigenous women. So like you use that insecurity that you had or might still have, and you're pushing past your fears and kind of, and speaking out and being like, you know what, I'm going to be the bridge. And that's absolutely amazing. I'm super happy and proud of you. And I want to ask about that interview and kind of what you said in it, and I'll let you speak.
Yeah. Are you referring to the like Yahoo and the No interview or the Covetor interview?
Your last Instagram post.
Yeah, in the No, I think Yahoo. Yeah, no, that one I was approached by Katie Mather, really lovely. And we hopped on a call a couple days later and she just really wanted to know and listen to like my story, which first in and of itself is really humbling and means so much because I feel like just like being a Black woman, being an Indigenous woman and being both combined, like it's not often that people are like, please like use your voice, please tell me more. And so it's really nice to hear that. And we talked for a while and I was telling her, you know, about my heritage. I was telling her about my tribe, the disenfranchisement with that, but also just what I've noticed in the Indigenous space and a lot of, you know, the people that are getting partnerships and getting like deals and just a platform are very much conform or part of that like Eurocentric kind of beauty standard. And I think that it's important that we notice that and that we try to challenge that because we need more representation. I think that it's very clear that representation is important for all types of people. So yeah, I talked about that with her, and then that was recently published, which was very exciting.
Well, congratulations. I'm excited for you, like, because it's like you're paving the way, you know, what you're actively. So, and I want to ask you, like, as women who are going to follow into your footsteps, as you know, we're opening doors, what advice would you give them if they're trying to, you know, have a brand, do modeling, have partnerships? You know, what are some of the things that you've learned along the way? I
think one of the most important things is to take time, like for silence and take time to yourself. A lot of the things and ideas and messages and like just things that I've been meaning to communicate that always don't come out eloquently come to me in silence. And by that I mean, reading, but yeah, just like being off your phone, like not actively consuming all of the time. So kind of taking space and really just kind of honing in to that inner voice in yourself. So some grounding, and then also I would say consistency. That's a big thing. I've had times where I kind of just like felt like giving up and being like, is this like worth it? Is anybody like, does anyone really care? Like I cared most of the time, but I was just like, I'm really tired or exhausted for reasons involving this and reasons like in my like other areas of my life. So I think being consistent and giving yourself grace are all really, really important things.
Yeah, I completely agree. And where do you see yourself kind of going with this brand, and where do you want to go?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like there's like the common like 5-year plan kind of thing. It's not that I don't subscribe to it. I think I just want to leave room for things that are like better than I can even imagine to happen, if that makes sense. But I do see myself like continuing. I'm actually really loving writing and kind of using my voice, honing that skill and kind of like storytelling, but just weaving more into that. So I'm excited for more like pieces and things for myself as well. But yeah, I do see maybe some pieces coming out, articles, maybe like a book along the way, which would be a really amazing thing. So that's like my furthest out vision, I believe. But yeah, continuing to like be a voice for people that have a hard time speaking about this, because it can be hard to speak on something that you've been so invalidated on.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of strength, and I don't know what type of childhood that you had, but, growing up in the public school system or private school system and, being who you are. And then also like, we're not taught in schools, we're not prioritized. We kind of have to dig for our own history, dig for our own self-appreciation, our own self-love. And I'm so happy that you found it. And I'm hoping whoever's watching this can see that, Kara is a manifestation. Like she fought for this. She fought to be this version of herself.
Big on manifestation too. So
that's exactly.
That word. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm just a random spirit. We're meeting now, guys.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of the woman that you are becoming and you are. And I wish you all of the blessings and all of the peace and that you're protected throughout your journey, because I believe that it is important for women like you to thrive and to be in those spaces. And I hope that those doors do open up for you. And one of the last questions I have is, what advice would you give, the younger women out there who are sort of still trying to figure it out and just feeling a little bit lost?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like could be cliche or simple advice, but start journaling. I think that if it's speaking to somebody that feels lost or is feeling like a little bit like in the middle of nowhere, I think that can help you really get a pulse on yourself. And a lot of times it's so helpful to even if the thoughts are confusing, to like put them down, and like kind of like put them down like actually, but also like put down that weight. And it helps more than I try to consistently journal. I'm not always great at it, but I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's great advice. I actually started journaling this year, guys, and it's really cool to see your progress.
I was gonna ask how it's been for you.
Okay. We'll get a little personal, but my first journal I ever did, I was figuring out my thoughts within the relationship that I was in. And then once I was like writing it down and then reading it back, I realized that at the end of the journal that me and my partner had to be separated and we broke up. That was a 4-year relationship. And that was my first journal last year.
Wow. No, that's very real. Like I think I started journaling. I, to be candid, like broke off an engagement last year. And like, that's really like what started my, like trying to like figure everything out. It's really hard to deal with that stuff.
Yeah. And That is so crazy. See,
Yeah.
you just
I
parallel.
know. No, we're really like, I really feel connected. I really do.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then the second journal was that I'm kind of doing now. There was like the career thing, and then
Yeah.
me becoming my authentic self.
Mhm.
What is it that I want out of this? Because me and my ex were business partners. And
Oh,
then
wow.
so I really shifted in my second journal to creating my podcast, to like starting to build on my brand. And just doing me and Kara just meeting guys, and like this is nerve-wracking, meeting someone for the first time and doing an interview, and then the confidence you have to constantly build on that and carry the conversation and all these things. So
I mean, your confidence shows, and I think the journaling and getting in touch with everything shows, because it's not like, this is a skill. Like, it's really admirable to like spearhead and start your own podcast, have conversations. Like it takes a lot. I recognize that for sure.
Thank you. And writing is a skill too. You in the beginning, you were like, I wouldn't call myself a writer, but I would.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, the first couple of pieces I was a little hesitant, but I was like, okay, let me just say yes to this, So
and you take your time. You were talking about like how you need space. And I feel like that's a writer's thing, to kind of go inwards and stuff like that. So I could totally see that for you. And I wish you the absolute best of luck for everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I wish the same to you.
Thank you. I'm receiving that. And Kara, I really appreciate you coming on here. I think we had an incredible, authentic conversation, which is what I'm trying to do here. So we can spread more love and light into this thing that we call the internet. And people need to see women like this having these conversations, loving each other, like supporting each other, especially Black women. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day.
You're so welcome. Thank you again.